before we can even get started on doing anything, I gotta make sure the car is all looking good and clean. So with that being said, I'll get the car pulled out and I'll grab all the cleaning supplies. I had to change my shirt because of how ridiculously hot it is out here, but now let's get into what the whole title and thumbnail of this video is all about, which is preparing and getting my car ready for the track. Now, when I bought my 86, I was actually gifted a 1-year membership to the National Auto Sports Association, which in short is NASA. It's like pretty much it allows you to get 1 free track day at any local event nearby, which for my instance, all my Florida boys, you guys probably know Sebring International Raceway. So there's a few things that you need to make sure that you have and that the car has before going out to your local tracks, which is pretty much what I'm going to be covering in this video today. It's nothing really serious, you guys, but for those of you who may have watched my channel or have watched any of my videos before, you guys know that I have my Race 57 CRs as well as some BC Racing coilovers on the car, paired with a Continental DSW06. These tires are 245/35 R18, so it's a bit bigger than the ones from factory that come on the car. I don't really have any performance mods per se, like the car isn't tuned, so I do have a Velocitec Ram air intake on the car, and as well as a AWE track cap-act exhaust. So there really isn't too much done to the car that would separate it from pretty much like a stock GR86 besides for like the suspension. But this will kind of give me an idea or like a benchmark as to how this car is going to perform. Almost stock, I could say, and help give you guys a better idea as to how this car can perform on a racetrack. Not only that, but it helps give me a better understanding and an idea of what mods I should go ahead and get installed onto the car going forward, whether that be an oil cooler to help keep my temperatures down, or maybe better brakes as well. So this will ultimately just help not only me, but help give you guys a better understanding of how this car is going to perform on a racetrack. There's a bunch of things that you want to ensure that you have for not only yourself, but also for your car before going out to any of your local tracks. So let's go ahead and get into some of those things. Here are some of the things that I feel like it's important to bring with you when going out to any of your local tracks nearby. If you're really serious about going to the track, there's of course a lot more things that you can ensure that you bring with you. But for a beginner or for someone who's going out for the first time, this is just some of the things things that I feel like that I'm gonna need when going out to Sebring. So I guess I'll just start from the left and work my way to the right. So to start off, something super important to ensure that you have with you when you're at your local track is a torque wrench with a proper socket to fit on your wheels. And to combine that, if you have any sort of like aftermarket wheels on your car, like me and my brother do, you're going to want to ensure that you have the correct socket for those wheels, whether it's just like a normal socket or you have a locking lug nut as well on your wheel. You're gonna make sure that you wanna have both of these with you, otherwise you won't be able to tighten or loosen your wheels when you're at the track. Secondly, to ensure that you'll be able to tighten down your wheels or loosen them, whatever the case may be, you want to ensure that you have some sort of floor jack or jack stands with you to be able to raise or lower the car. Having a floor jack will allow you to be able to work on your car at the track in case any issues or anything may come up. So ensuring that you have some sort of floor jack or jack stands with you is for sure a must when going to your local event. Now, do you have a modified car really? If you don't have any zip ties on it, let's be honest, come on man. You gotta have at least one zip tie somewhere on the car. So, inspectors, whenever they are looking at your car, whenever you're getting it like tech inspection, when you're at your local event, you want to ensure that there's no loose wires or anything dangling underneath or inside your engine bay. So having some zip ties with you just to be able to tie like loose wires back is definitely a good idea to ensure that you have with you, just to make sure that there's nothing that could potentially cost you from not being able to drive on the track. Now the two behind here are pretty self-explanatory. You can't exactly drive your car on the track if it doesn't have oil or gas in it. So ensuring that your car is filled up to the optimal level with oil and gas is definitely a thing that you're gonna wanna make sure that you have. And having extra oil and gas on the side is also a really great idea. That way you can ensure that if anything starts running low, you'll have backup with you and you'll be able to fill anything up if case need be. To ensure that you can fill your car up while you're at the track, having a funnel with you is really important. Some gas tanks actually have like a little nozzle on them to help guide the gas into your, of course, into the tank. But for those of you who may be needing to fill your car up with oil, having a funnel with you is really important. Or maybe even just like a water bottle that you can cut in half just to help siphon the oil into the engine, of course. Now, the helmet is honestly personal preference. The only things that you need to ensure that you have regarding a helmet is that it's a DOT Snell SA 2005 or higher. The actual style itself, I don't think really matters. This is just, I'm using this as an example, you guys. This is a really old helmet. I don't even think this would work if I wanted to use this. So I'm probably just gonna be renting a helmet or buying one before the actual event. Having the proper helmet will not only ensure that you'll be able to take your car out onto the track, but ultimately gives you that sense of security that having the proper safety equipment will keep you safe. Because although it is safer than going out on public roads and racing there, being on a track can still be dangerous. So ensuring that you have the proper safety equipment is for sure something that you want to make sure that you have. This next thing ultimately also is just something that's personal preference. You can go sort of cheap with this. You can go definitely a lot more expensive. I decided, considering it was my first time ever going out to the track, I decided it would be well worth it if I just spent a little bit extra money and did the ones that I actually wanted. So this next one is a racing number. A racing number is a needed thing that you have to have on the car when you're on the track to give people an idea of where you and your vehicle are. I know there's a ton of different ways that you can go about doing this. Some people use painter's tape. Some people actually get magnets, or there's decals as well, which is what I ended up doing. I made this whole like little custom racing number, my name, and like my social medias as well. You don't have to have this. The only thing that you need to ensure that you have on your car is just the actual racing number itself. Places that I'm gonna be putting these, I'm gonna be putting them on both sides of the car. I know some people go all around, including the hood, the rear bumper, and the side doors as well. But for this purpose, I'm just gonna be putting them on each side of my doors. I'm extremely stoked on how these came out. You guys, like, oh, they look so badass. I cannot wait to get them thrown onto the car. So with that being said, let's go check over the car, make sure everything is good on it, including torquing down the wheels, making sure that there's no loose wires or anything like that, and making sure that the seats are all torqued down to proper specs. and then we'll go ahead and get the new decals thrown onto the car. So what I'm gonna do now is actually get the car started up and let it run for about 5 minutes or so, just so I can check the oil levels in it. That way I know whether or not before driving the 2 or so hours all the way up to Sebring, I know that the car has oil in it and that it's at the optimal level that it should be. So let's go ahead and get the car started up and check out the oil level. So while the car is sitting here running, I'm gonna show you guys some of the things that I'm gonna need to ensure that I check before going and taking the drive all the way to Sebring. For one, is all these like wires that I have on the engine bay. That's from my Velocitec air intake that I have installed. It's not a problem, I just need to get them all tucked away with some zip ties to ensure that nothing's gonna cause an issue or have any sort of problems. The last time I think I checked my oil was probably when I did my RTV afterwards. I did a check about like 500 miles or so after I did that. So that's probably been about like a month or so now. So it's definitely time that I check my oil and see what the levels are at. So I'll go ahead, let the car get a little warm, and after about 5 minutes or so, I'll go ahead and check the oil level. All right, so now that the car has cooled down just a tad bit, I'll go ahead and grab the dipstick. See where the oil level is at. Let me do it one more time just to ensure that it's where it's actually at. One more time, just to see. Yeah, it's about a little bit more than half. So I think it should be fine, you guys. I'll definitely, after I take the 2-hour drive up to Sebring, I'll definitely check on it again and see where the oil levels are at. And if in case I need to, I'll for sure make sure to bring extra oil with me to ensure that I can fill it up if case need be. Now that we got the oil level checked and ensure that it's good, what I'm gonna do now is get all the Velocitec wiring kind of tucked away. When I first initially installed this, and had all the wiring done, I kind of just wanted to make sure that it worked first and that I was gonna come back later on and just make it look a lot prettier. But I never actually kind of went back to make it look any prettier. So it's kind of stayed the same way the entire time. So not only am I gonna do this just to make it clean the engine bay up a little bit, but I need to do it anyways just because the track prep, and I just want to ensure that there's no wires dangling and that none of this will not allow me to go on the track. So with that being said, I'll get all the little zip ties that I have in place right now cut. That way I can get all this wire moved back a little bit more and just ultimately just clean up the engine bay. All right, so we got all the wiring finished up now, you guys. Definitely looks a lot better than how it did previously. I kind of just tucked everything away on both sides, as well as kind of tucked the wire a little bit better going alongside the car inside the engine bay. I shouldn't have to run into any issues now with getting my car tech inspected while I'm at the track. So now what I'm gonna go ahead and do next is get my decal thrown onto the car. Like I said before, you guys, I'm gonna be putting them on the side doors, but I still haven't really decided yet as to where I wanna do it, like placement reasons on the car. Some people go right in the middle of the door itself, and then some go closer to the front fender. So I guess I'm gonna have to make up my decision now, and then I'll get everything thrown onto the car. And I think that really should be it, you guys, besides for checking tire pressure and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and grab the decals and get them thrown onto the car. All right, so I just grabbed some measurements of the door itself. It's about 52 inches long and 25 inches in height, going from the top to bottom. The decal that I bought is 8 inches long and it's about 12 inches tall. So I'm gonna keep all that in mind when going about and placing it on the car. I decided that it would probably be better, and I looked at some images of some other cars with racing stickers or decals on them. And a lot of them choose to put it closer to the front fender of the car rather than in like the middle of the door. So I think that I'm gonna probably go with that as well. So I'll go get some measurements of the door again, get the tape laid on. That way I know exactly where to place the decal at. So this is essentially how I got it mocked up. I think it looks really good where it's at right now. So what I'm gonna do now is get all the tape taken off, get the back of the decal peeled off, and I'll go ahead and get it laid onto the car. So I got the first one thrown on now. What I'm gonna do next is go ahead and get the other side done as well, and I'll show you guys how it looks. All right, you guys, so I pretty much got everything finished up now. All the preparation for the track for next week. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is get the car pulled out. That way you guys can get a better look as to how everything is finished and how everything looks on the car, including the decals and whatnot. So with that being said, let me get the car pulled out for you guys. All right, you guys, so that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for today's video. Let me know what you guys thought, and if you found this video helpful anyway, in case you guys may be going to the track sometime in the near future. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a like down below. It helps me out so much. Make sure you guys are subscribed. That way you guys don't miss any uploads that I got coming out in the near future. You guys are definitely gonna wanna make sure you guys to subscribe for these next few uploads. I'm really excited for the road trip and the actual track day itself, of course. Leave any comments down below what kind of video ideas you guys would like to see next. I'm always reading all the comments. I'm always trying to reply to them as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care. Peace.